Have you ever thought about, like living longer?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like a much longer, healthier life?
Absolutely.
Well, today we're going to dive into a world where that might be closer than you think.
Oh, wow.
We're talking about Pump.Science.
Okay.
And it's this really interesting project that's kind of right at the intersection of decentralized science and the world of crypto.
Yeah, it might sound like an odd combination at first,
Right.
but it really starts to make a lot of sense when you dig a little deeper.
Yeah, absolutely. And our guide for this deep dive is this great article from Blockmates.
Okay.
It's called What is Pump.Science? Trade on Real Scientific Experiments.
Catchy.
So think of this as like a crash course in Pump.Science.
Okay.
We'll break down how it works, what makes it so unique, and even how you could maybe get involved yourself.
I think a good place to start might be with this idea that Pump.Science actually frames scientific research as a game.
A game.
Okay, you have my attention.
So imagine this.
The goal of the game is to run experiments that try to make different organisms live longer.
Interesting.
And they've got this tiered system
Uh-huh.
where you start with something simple like worms.
Okay.
Then you move up to flies, and then eventually you get to the most complex level, which is experimenting with mice.
So it's like leveling up in a video game.
Yeah, exactly.
But instead of getting points or virtual rewards, you're actually like contributing to real scientific progress.
Right. And as you go up those tiers, the experiments get more complex and more expensive.
Okay.
So you need a bigger investment.
That makes sense. You wouldn't want to jump right into some expensive mice study without making sure that the idea even works.
Right.
But I'm guessing this is where the crypto part comes in, right?
Exactly. This is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
The funding for these experiments comes from selling tokens that are linked to each specific drug being tested.
Wait, so when you say tokens, you mean like digital assets like Bitcoin or Ethereum
Yeah,
that
exactly.
people can buy and sell?
Uh-huh. And in Pump.Science, these tokens are like a direct investment in that specific scientific experiment.
So it's not just playing a game, it's like you're investing in real science.
Exactly. It's a totally new way to fund research
Wow.
that uses the excitement and resources of the crypto community.
That's actually really clever.
Yeah, they sell the tokens at different market cap thresholds,
Okay.
and hitting each threshold kicks off the next phase of the experiment.
So there's like a built-in incentive to support the research.
Right.
Because if the drug works, the value of your tokens could go up.
Yeah, it's kind of like crowdfunding for science, but with a crypto twist.
So where did these experiments actually happen?
So this is one of the coolest parts.
Oh, okay.
They're not happening in some secret lab.
Yeah.
They're done at Tract Bio and Aura Biomedical. And get this, they're actually live streamed.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah?
I could actually watch these experiments as they're happening.
You absolutely can. It's like having front row seats to cutting edge science, but from your couch.
That's incredible. It's definitely a level of transparency that you don't usually see in research.
For sure.
But before we get too excited, I want to make sure I'm connecting all the dots.
Okay.
We've got this game, the crypto part, the live streamed experiments.
Right.
How does this all tie into the bigger idea of DeSci?
Decentralized science.
Yeah, decentralized science.
That's a great question. And Pump.Science is like a perfect example of DeSci in action.
Okay.
DeSci is this growing movement that's using blockchain tech to totally change how research is funded and done.
So it's about giving people the power to support and maybe even like influence the direction of research.
Exactly. And that leads to some pretty big advantages, like researchers having more control over their work, the whole process being more open and transparent, and it allows funding for research that might have been ignored by more traditional routes.
So let's say someone is listening and they're thinking, Pump.Science sounds cool. How do I get involved? What's the first step?
Well, step one would be to go to the Pump.Science website, and you can check out the experiments that are going on, see which drugs are being tested, and get a feel for the platform.
So it's kind of like browsing a catalog of research projects you could support.
Exactly. And one thing to watch is the count metric.
Okay.
This basically tells you how many of the organisms are still alive at any given time,
Okay.
which helps you figure out how well the treatment's working.
So like higher count, more promising results, more likely the experiment will move to the next level.
Exactly. And you can always tune into the live feed and watch the research happening right in front of you.
Wow. So imagine this. You're at home watching a live stream of an experiment that you've actually invested in,
Yeah.
and you're seeing the results happen in real time.
It's definitely a unique way to experience science.
It's amazing.
And it shows how DeSci can make science more accessible and exciting for everyone.
Okay, so let's say I've done my research. I'm following the experiment. I'm ready to invest.
Okay.
Where do I go to actually trade these tokens?
So there's this platform called Pump.Fund that's made specifically for trading these science-backed tokens.
Okay.
And it's designed to be easy to use even if you're new to crypto.
So we've got the website to track the research, the live feed to watch the experiments, and the trading platform to get involved.
The whole ecosystem.
It really is. But what about the big picture? What's the goal of Pump.Science in the long run? What are they hoping to achieve?
So they're really aiming high.
Yeah, they are.
From what I understand, the big goal of Pump.Science is to use all that energy and those resources from the crypto world to really speed up research into living longer.
Yeah, that's exactly it. They don't just want to fund research. They
Like,
want to make it go faster to make real progress towards extending the human lifespan.
wow, imagine a world where living to 100 or even 150 is like a real possibility.
It's wild.
What kind of impact would that have on society? It's kind of hard to even wrap your head around.
It is, and they're not just focused on living longer, but also living better during those extra years.
They're even looking into developing AI agents.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could learn from the protocols that work and then help us optimize our lifestyles to be as healthy as possible for as long as possible.
So it's not just about living longer. It's about living better, healthier, more fulfilling lives for longer, right? It's about reaching our full potential.
Exactly. And what's really exciting is that Pump.Science doesn't just limit participation to established scientists or institutions.
Oh, interesting.
Anyone with a good idea can submit a proposal for a new compound to be tested.
So it's like truly opening up scientific innovation. Anyone with a good idea could potentially contribute to this groundbreaking research.
Yeah, that's the beauty of DeSci, breaking down the barriers and creating a more inclusive scientific community where anyone can participate.
It's incredible to think that this kind of platform could lead to discoveries that might have been missed through traditional research.
Absolutely.
But I'm sure there are some people out there who are a little skeptical.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean, can you really trust a system built on crypto to fund real, serious scientific research? What do you think about that?
That's a totally valid question. And being a little skeptical is always a good thing.
Right.
It's important to think critically and ask those tough questions.
Absolutely.
But Pump.Science isn't just relying on hype.
Okay.
They've actually put things in place to make sure the research they're funding is high quality and done with integrity.
Okay, so what are those things? What makes Pump.Science different from just any other crowdfunding platform out there?
Well, for one, their funding model is directly tied to how well the experiments work.
Uh-huh.
The better a drug performs, the more valuable its associated token becomes.
So it's not just about getting people excited or pumping up the price of a token.
Right.
There's a real connection between the scientific results and the value of the investment.
Exactly. And then you have the added transparency of live streaming the experiments.
Right.
Anyone can watch the research happening in real time,
Mm.
which helps to keep everyone accountable and prevents anything shady from going on.
It's like having a global peer review process happening live,
Yeah,
where anyone with an internet connection can scrutinize the methods and results.
exactly. And that level of scrutiny can really push researchers to maintain high standards.
You know, when you take a step back and look at the big picture, it's pretty amazing.
It is.
We're talking about using a technology that was originally made for digital currency to potentially unlock the secrets of human longevity.
I know, it's like something out of science fiction.
It really is. And what's even more exciting is that we're still in the early stages of DeSci.
Yeah, just getting started.
We're only just beginning to understand what it can do to transform scientific research.
It feels like we're watching a new era of scientific exploration being born,
Right.
one that's driven by the collective intelligence and resources of a global community.
Yeah, it's a movement that's giving individuals the power to directly contribute to scientific progress, no matter their background or credentials.
Absolutely.
I have to admit, I was a bit hesitant at first, but the more I learn about Pump.Science and DeSci, the more I'm seeing the potential.
Yeah, it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
It really is. It raises some big questions about the future of science
For sure.
and the role that technology will play in shaping that future.
Definitely.
Speaking of big questions, I think it's time to bring this back to our listener.
Yeah, let's shift gears and think about what this means for them.
After taking this deep dive into the world of Pump.Science, we're left with this thought-provoking question for you to ponder.
Okay.
If you had the opportunity to contribute to research that could potentially extend your lifespan, would you take it? Yeah, it really makes you think about what's important to you and what you believe in, right?
Definitely.
Would you be willing to embrace this chance to live longer, even if it meant supporting research that some people might see as like outside the box.
Yeah, it's a big question. There's no right or wrong answer.
Right.
Some people might be all in right away, while others might have some doubts. But the fact that we even have this opportunity at all just shows how much DeSci is changing things.
It's like flipping the whole traditional model of funding and doing science on its head.
Right. It's not just governments and institutions calling the shots anymore.
Yeah.
Individuals can now directly impact the direction of research and potentially benefit from the results.
And it's not just about those potential personal benefits either.
No.
Pump.Science is about a more collaborative way of making scientific discoveries.
Yeah, it's about bringing together people who are passionate about pushing the limits of what we know and creating a future where we can all live healthier and more fulfilling lives.
You know what strikes me as the sense of optimism and excitement around this project.
I know what you mean.
It's like they've tapped into this deep human desire to explore and discover, but in a way that directly connects to our own well-being.
You're right on the money.
Yeah.
I think Pump.Science is connected with something fundamental in us.
Oh.
This drive to understand ourselves and the world better, to see what's possible, and to build a better future for everyone.
Well said. I've got to say, I'm really impressed by what Pump.Science is doing.
You too.
They've created this platform that's both scientifically sound and exciting for a wide audience. It's pretty incredible.
It is, and it reminds us that innovation can come from anywhere.
Right.
Sometimes the most groundbreaking ideas come from outside the established system, and that's something to celebrate.
Totally. So for our listeners who are interested in this whole world of decentralized science and the potential of longevity research,
Yeah?
I really encourage you to check out the Pump.Science website and see what it's all about.
It's worth a look.
You might find yourself drawn into this exciting new frontier of scientific exploration.
You never know. You might even end up contributing to the next big discovery.
Yeah, the possibilities are endless.
For sure.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into Pump.Science.
Thanks for having me.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and never stop questioning the limits of what's possible.